Good afternoon, collectors. Sorry we're just a couple minutes late. We were having a little technical difficulties. We were planning a little field trip to our parts department, and there's something else going on back there right now, so we'll postpone that maybe till next time. In fact, I will take this opportunity to tell you that next time we are going on a little field trip. In fact, we are going to do our whole Facebook live posting from the sculpting studio, where our main sculptor, Kiri, is going to show us some of the ins and outs and some of the challenges that she's faced with when she does sculpting. So I think that'll be a really fun time for us, and we will be doing that later this month. I believe the third Thursday of the month, which would be the, let's see, today's the Thursday, it would be the 20th. No, 17th. It would be 14 days from now, 17th, I think. So today we're going to talk about parts. And for the last 20 years when I've been answering actually for the last 30 years when I've been answering telephone calls, number one thing people ask about, they ask about what bulbs do I use, what adapters do I use, how many do you have, aren't they all the same, if it lights up a piece, if it plugs in, doesn't it work? No. Hate to be so technical about it, and we're just going to go through a few simple things that I go over with collectors when they have questions about, okay, my piece isn't working, so here's what I ask them. Here's an adapter. This is one of our most common adapters. When you get a replacement, you usually get it in a plain white box, kind of a nondescript looking box, and it should, if it's used for more than one item, it should have a number on it. This one says 095, and it's used for quite a few different items. I think the most popular, which is the London Gin Distillery. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that you would take a look at on your own adapter. Say you have the London Gin Distillery and the lights are working, but the wheel is not going around. So that to me says that the adapter part is working, the bulb is working, but there might be something wrong with the auxiliary cord connector. So let's back up here a second. First thing you're going to look at if your piece is not working in any, so if you've got animation, which means something's going around, something's talking, it's singing, it's dancing, that's animation. Even twinkling lights on something, we call that animation. The lighting for the interior, whether it be from a bulb or from LED lighting, if that's not working, you want to take a look at your adapter. Now this is a standard adapter. It says it's a class 2 power supply. Input 120 volts. That's what goes into your wall. What you want to look at is down here. It's called the output. And I know I don't have this very close, but if you have an adapter nearby or want to take notes on this, you want to look at the output. And the output for this particular adapter says 12 volt AC, 830 milliamps. Now that 12 volt AC is the most important part of this. That means when you plug this into the wall, into a regular socket, that's 120 volts on that side. There are coiled wires inside here that step it down to make it a 12 volt. It'll go through the cord, and then you don't use a 120 volt bulb in here. That's going to pop immediately. So what you need to use is a 12 volt bulb. So if your water wheel is working and you put a new bulb in, they all have the candelabra base, and you can see this candelabra base right here. They all have the same kind of, most of them have the same kind of base. Okay, it screws in, but that doesn't mean it's the right bulb. So what we have done here at Department 56 to try to make that a little easier for you to see is we shape the bulbs differently, and I will show you all the different shaped bulbs in just a moment. 12 volt bulbs also have a 12V stamped in red ink right on the glass. Can't mistake it. It's always a pointy bulb like this. So the first thing you're going to look at is the voltage. Second thing you're going to look at is the bulb. Do I have the right bulb in? Yes, you have a bulb in, but is it the right one? The third thing you're going to look at is the connector. Now this connector, sometimes it's what we call an auxiliary clip, and that's this little kind of square plastic looking thing, and it usually has either 2 holes or 2 prongs on the inside. If it has 2 holes on the inside, then your piece will have the part with the 2 prongs. If it has 2 prongs on the inside, then it's 2 holes on your piece. That's the other way you can tell if you've got the right cord with the right adapter. If you have problems with anything like this, you can always email us at misslittown@department56.com, and we can answer your questions. If you go into our replacement parts section and you know the name, exact name, and or item number of the piece you're looking for, and we were using the example of the London Gin Distillery, go into replacement parts, type in London Gin Distillery, and it will show you. It uses a 12-volt bulb. It uses this adapter 95, and you know you'll have the right parts when you get them. So those are some very important tips to look at before you go all crazy and think, my piece isn't working, I need a new piece. No, you probably just have a couple of simple things you need to look at. The other kind of connector, now they all plug into the wall. The other kind of connector, I believe, is on this one. This says it's 003. This one, I happen to know off the top of my head, is used for the Rickety Railroad Station, Grimsley Manor, and Mordecai Mansion. So the one that has this kind of nifty little circle unit with the yellow and blue bulb. And this adapter, if you look at it, this one will be black. Sometimes we have adapters that are white. Those generally start with a Halloween item. The Halloween adapters and cords we have traditionally all done in black. The white ones are for Christmas. It doesn't matter what color it is. What matters is that output, that voltage. This one says the output for this one is a 6-volt, 800 milliamps. So it'll say 0.8A, which means 0.8 of an amp, and that's 800 milliamps, because there's 1,000 milliamps in an amp, and that is about as much electricity as I know. So here's what that one looks like, and that one has a different kind of connector. We only use 2 kinds of connectors here at Department 56 for our animation. A jack, like I always say, like an old stereo jack, or the auxiliary cord. So I'm going to plug this one in and show you a couple of things about this particular piece. This is a little older technology, because this piece has been around probably going on 20 years. We've got the adapter, this number 3 adapter. And again, if you don't know what adapter you need, put in the name and or item number in replacement parts. There'll be I think it looks like a magnifying glass. You know, what am I looking for? Give me a little more information. You'll plug it into this little auxiliary clip thing here, and this is the on-off switch. So you want to turn it on, and now you see that the bulbs are working. You see that? See that the bulbs are working? And the bulbs go back and forth. They're never usually on at the same time. So you won't have the yellow and the blue on at the same time. And sometimes this blue one fades so much people think it might be green. They think that this one sometimes is orange, but they're yellow and blue, and that's what makes that lightning effect. And you can see them going back and forth, and really they go back and forth based on the sound that's underneath. Now they can be on with no sound. If you want the sound on, you have to turn your piece over, and there are some instructions that we're now putting on the bottom, because too many people turn this on and they say, well, I can't get my sound to work. Well, the sound is separately, so you can have the lights on with no sound, because sometimes those sounds get kind of competing. So there's 2 volumes here, high and low, so we'll turn it on. This is low. And now we have sound and lights on. And this happens to be for the Rickety Railroad Station. But if you want to have it on and don't have the sound, you just pick up your piece, flip this over, and turn the sound off. So now you have just sound. If you want to just control just the lights, just turn it on and off from this switch over here. So you don't have to lift up everything in your display. That's the whole idea. So the Rickety Railroad Station, Mordecai Mansion, and Grimsley Manor all work on this same principle. So if you've got questions about that, now we do put these little instructions on the bottom because it was a little confusing. Now we also have other kinds of cords that I wanted to just show you a little bit. Let me get rid of a few of these. Oh, here's another thought that I wanted to share. You will notice in the last year or so that our adapters have changed. Some a little with the shape. This big, fat, heavy that probably weighs close to a pound has now become this, much lighter weight. This had the copper coils on the inside, the copper wire that wrapped, that made the power step down to a lower voltage so we can get this 12 volt. The Jolly Club Ballroom here is a 6 volt. This uses a solid state circuit, which is much lighter. It will run cooler, both safe. You don't have to throw these out and get all new adapters. They are both safe. This does get a little warm, and it does require a little more ventilation. You don't want to bury this underneath your piles of snow and batting, and that'll just insulate it, and that's what causes them to kind of get a little brown looking and misshapen. You've just burnt it out, and it will burn out here and not go through the wires into your house. It saves things. So we have started working with a new factory that makes these more state-of-the-art. We're coming into the 21st century, so these are lighter, easier to ship, lighter to ship. You'll like them better because they don't take up as much room, and if you're using a power strip, look at how much less room that takes. So that's a great thing. Let's get that one off the table here because the more we have, the more Melinda can get confused with things. If you look on the front here, I just want to share these little guys with you. I was in Portland last weekend, and I had a great time at the 30th anniversary of a club up there. The club was called the Village Idiots. That's what they named themselves, and they are just a fun group. I've been there. I think this is the third or fourth time I've gone to one of their big events. They have had what they call the Dickens Tea for the last 25 years, and so they were celebrating that. And one of the things they did on their weekend was they had a little make and take. Well, there are make and takes that they have all the time at these conventions, and they look like so much fun. And because I'm always running around doing other things and giving lectures and talking to people, I never get a chance to do the make and takes. So I got to do make and takes this weekend. So they had a little, let's see, where's my little bag here? They had a little bag of, nope, that's not it. I had a little bag of goodies here someplace. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Little bag that had little wooden pieces in it and little spools and little accent pieces and little pieces of fabric. So I made 3 little tables here. They had them for Halloween and for Christmas, and I picked Halloween. I think these are buttons, and they have some little beads that are little skulls, and I'm not sure what these were. These almost look like the little candies you put on cookies at Halloween time. This is really a painted bottle cap. So, I mean, they were just using found items, fun things, little stickers that look like spiders, and I made 3 little cute little stands. These are for finger sandwiches. Aren't those cute? And I really had a good time, and people kept taking pictures, and they said, Melinda, why are you having such a good time doing this? I said, because I've never done this before. I go to all these events, and I never get to have fun and make things, so I had a lot of fun doing that. So, wanted to share those with you, and hello to all the Village Idiots that were at this event. There were probably about 80 or 85 people at a lovely country club out there in Tualatin. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but it was a gorgeous room, and we had a lot of fun. And they raised $2,500 for their local charity, and all these clubs choose their own charities. And the charity that they chose this time was the Campfire Association, a group for boys and girls, similar to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and they raised money for them, and they raised $2,500, which I thought was just marvelous. So when you consider there were less than 100 people there. So that was a lot of fun. So back to parts. So we've talked a little bit about this baby here, and so we're going to move him out of the way. We've got other things here. This is an adapter that's used in several items, and this is the interior unit that is an available part for the Jolly Club Ballroom. And I'm just going to plug it in, let you see how that one works, and just talk just briefly about what we've got going here. Now, okay, I've got it plugged in. Okay, it doesn't look like it's working, but it really is, because there's an on-off toggle switch that you can slide underneath the house, so you don't have to lift it up to turn it on and off. Now it goes on. It has a screen that goes around, so it looks like the elves are dancing on the inside. And what I wanted to show you about this is the adapter is sold separately. The mechanical unit is separate. And you can also buy a replacement screen. And these screens come, let's see if I can undo it without any glasses. They come flat. And that will be the same for the Monster Mash house. You will get a flat piece like this. There's some little notches that you just can put it together. If you want to glue it, I suppose you could. But even for storage, storing it flat works really well. There is no bulb that is used with this one. It is an LED light, and I'll just show you that again with the screen off, and that LED bulb is right here. That should last for many, many, many years, unless you use the wrong adapter with it, which will burn it out or something like that. But what we have done in the last probably 10 or 15 years is when you get a new piece, on the back side of it, somewhere on here, there's going to be the item number. There's going to be the name of the piece, so that you know this is the adapter that works with this Jolly Time Ballroom. Can't get them mixed up and cause a problem electrically that way. A lot of our pieces come like this little campfire. These are called battery operated, and they're AC/DC compatible. It'll come with a little battery box like this. Christmas ones come in white. We also get them in black. You use 2C batteries in there. And if you break a battery cover, you can buy a whole new battery box. Battery boxes are sold separately through our replacement parts line. You can now, since about 2006, you can disconnect this completely. It used to be that you had to put your jack for wall power, electrical power, through the box, but now you take it apart. You can discard this, and it makes it much easier to use. And we will be able to take our AC/DC adapter, plug that in easily, and plug in up to 3 separate battery operated accessories on one jack, making, you can use it with street lights and other things that come with that battery pack. So that's another handy feature, and you don't have to try to hide that battery pack in the meantime. So that's another great item. Other things in our replacement parts section, if you have the skating pond and the dog or your grandson happens to put a piece in his pocket and it gets lost, we have a set of 4 replacement skaters. You can buy those. Sometimes we get them in really nice styrofoam packaging, or the last time we got them, we got a bag that had a couple hundred of these in it and another bag that had a couple hundred of this one, and we had to make our own sets, which is fine. I like them when they come in the separate little, so that they're all nicely packaged and makes it much easier for us to ship things out to you. But we can put the packages together. That's not a problem. Another really popular item that we stock, and it had been out of stock for most of the year, and I've ordered lots and lots of them because we know that the wheels go flat on these, is the little train that goes on the Santa's Wonderland house. It's a little 3-piece train that goes on the house, and the train goes around, the circle goes around the house. These are available online too. And again, to find that replacement part, put in the name Santa's Wonderland house or the item number of the piece, which I happen to know is 55359. You start learning these numbers, and you'll find the little train, and you can order it. We get it out really quickly. If you're on the ball with putting your display up and you say, oh, I know I need this, and you've got plenty of time, if you've got a minimum of or a maximum of 5 days to get it to you, you don't have to ask for special shipping. That special shipping, it's ridiculous to buy a part that costs $9.95 and pay $25 for shipping. That's just silly. So if you know you need the part, order it now. We are sending things out within 24 hours of getting your order. If you order over the weekend, of course, Monday is the day we will ship them out. So if you order on Saturday or Sunday, Monday we'll get them out, and you probably have it by Friday or Saturday. So save yourself some money and use that to buy some extra bulbs and things like that. The battery-operated pieces that use these adapters, this is what the box looks like when it comes. It's green. We used to have a second adapter that had a little bigger plug to it, and that was called a Bright Lights adapter. We still have this in our parts line. It does not come in a box like this anymore. This has 2 jacks on it. This has 3. It's a smaller size for the jack on it. And this happens to be the black version, and you can see between this one and the Bright Lights adapter that the connector, I'm not sure what they call this, but I call it a jack. You can see that this one is considerably chunkier than this one. So it's like putting unleaded gas in your car. It won't let you plug this one into the wrong one if it's meant for this lower voltage. I think this is 2.5 volts and this is 4 volts. So it doesn't want to let you cross those. This is only for the Bright Lights accessories that we had probably 15, 20 years ago. A lot of people still have them. They want to be able to plug them in on a strip like they do a lot of other things. So we have been able to find those again and have them produced for us. Let's look at bulbs. That's the last thing we're going to look at today. And remember I said that the shape of the bulb is going to make a difference. This was the very first bulb that we ever came out with. They always came 3 to a package. They're kind of oval. These are 120 volts. Sometimes your piece is a little bit shorter. And so because I begged and pleaded, they finally came out with these, probably close to 10 years after I started for the company. But these are a good 1/4 to 1/2 inch shorter. If you've got a piece that's a little shorter, these two can be used interchangeably because they are both 120 volt bulbs. So these are like what you would put in a standard light socket. That's what your lights are in your house, 120 volts. And those would go into the auxiliary light cord or the regular, thought I had one here. Yeah, it's in this box here. Or a regular, just a regular single light cord. Also works in the set of 3 light cords or the set of 6. So these are just standard cords. This year we came out with something kind of new and nifty and kind of wonderful. It's an LED light. Everybody's looking to go with LED lights, and we have an LED version. If you remember from a few Facebook Lives ago, I showed you the difference between what this lumens look like as opposed to the regular lights, and they're very, very similar. There's no reason why you couldn't use some of these and some of the other in your village. It's got an on-off switch just like the other ones. In fact, it's kind of a 21st century on-off switch, so it's a little bit nicer. And it has a USB, is that what that's called? A USB cord that you can use if you are outside the country. So if you're in Europe, this would be the kind of bulb or kind of light cord you would want to use. Also in the 120s, okay, you see we were using exactly the same shape, this nice oval. They come in orange and purple, which is fun for Halloween. And they come in kind of a little more translucent blue and green. A lot of our collectors like varying the lights in the houses, especially for Christmas, for like Snow Village. But if you'll notice, all of the bulbs are shaped exactly the same. They're that oval. So then you know that this oval bulb is always 120 degrees. Second kind of bulb that we introduced is this one. I say it always looks like the top of a hot air balloon. This is a 3-volt bulb. So if on your adapter the output says 3 volts DC or 3 volts AC, 3-volt bulb is what you want to use. We're trying to put that on all of the boxes now, but if you have your adapter and it says 3 volts there, 3 volts is what you want to do there. And again, we've got them in red and green and in orange and purple. But if you look, the shape is the same. To me, they look like either an inverted pear or the top of a hot air balloon. All 3-volt bulbs look like this, and we're trying to do that to make things a little more streamlined and simplified for you. So that's that. Then the other bulb we have, and I think we have some in the back room that are orange. This is that 12-volt bulb that goes in London Gin Distillery, and you'll see it's pointed at the top, and it also will have the 12V printed on it. The last bulbs I'm going to show you here, well, this is one that we didn't have in stock for a while, but we have them now. We have the flicker bulbs that go into, I think it goes in Spooky Farmhouse. You can use it in anything that you use a 120-volt bulb in if you like that flicker effect. This would be like what you would use in a candelabra kind of situation. So that's another one that we have available. And these are the bulbs that you would use if you have this, what do I do with it? It's on the other side here. If you have the Rickety Railroad Station, or you have the Grimsley Manor or Mordecai Mansion. I learned this a couple of years ago. This bulb base is called a bayonet base. I don't know why, but it is. And I had somebody just this week, they didn't know how to get it out of here to change the bulb. You have to push down and turn it counterclockwise, and then it will pop out. And you will see on the side, it's kind of a J situation, a cutout that you would then, one on each side, so they're opposite. And I think I always say it looks like a Frankenstein neck because he's got the little thing that sticks up. You slide it in each side, and if you don't have your glasses on, you can't see it. And then you would turn it just a little bit clockwise, and then you've got them secured in there. It's going to make contact, and your bulbs are going to work. We have just a few pieces that have this bayonet base. I'm not sure why they chose the bayonet base, but it's on this unit. And it's also on the Haunted Mansion, and that has an orange bulb, and those bulbs are available online too. A lot of information to take in. Send us an email if you have a question and you don't want to use the wrong bulb or the wrong adapter. We're more than happy to get that answer to you. Next time, we are going to be in the sculpting studio, and I think that's going to be great fun. I really look forward to you meeting Kiri and hearing about some of the things that she has done. And she's been with the company a long, long time, I think 20 years. So I think it will be great fun to visit with her, and I hope you have some questions for her as far as how our pieces are sculpted. Till next time, we'll see ya.